Hey folks, how's it going? Dr. Spin. In my quest to find my favorite albums of 2021, I've been working through this big bracketed playlist, which produces these showdowns every week. And so I thought I'd share them out with you, see what you think, and you'll sound off below if you agree or disagree. There'll be examples from these artists at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm looking at, today, Tame Impala's The Slow Rush versus Hans Zimmer's Dune original soundtrack. Okay, and it seems like a little bit of a genre crash up, and it is. I've been waiting for something to show up that could really give a Slow Rush a run for its money, because Tame Impala is a pop group that's really defining what this era of music is going to sound like. You know, much like in the 2010s, I feel like M83 was sort of defining that sound for synth music then. That's kind of what's happening now, I think, with Tame Impala. Great tunes on here. Lots of studio polish, to the point where it almost feels a little plastic, to be honest. But the tunes are great and the performances are heartfelt. I do sort of long for the days when Tame Impala was a little bit more of an organic live band in this more recent iteration. But man, you cannot deny that they're really setting new standards about what's possible sonically in this style of music. Now, this is the one kind of overlap, besides the kind of sandy album cover that they both share, that you have with the Dune OST, because Dune OST also is really pushing boundaries on what's possible sonically in a soundtrack. Hans Zimmer in recent years has been getting further and further away from really using really obvious themes in his music and relying more and more on texture. So when he endeavored to make Dune, he really made the most of trying to step out of the traditional idea of orchestral soundtracks, that sort of thing. And there's a unique thing that happens with Hans Zimmer's soundtracks where his music just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when it stands alone by itself until you see it with the movie. And then when you see it with the movie, it seems just terribly obvious. I remember the first 3 or 4 times I listened to this, I'm like, I don't really hear any melodies. It's not a surprise, because Hans Zimmer's been doing less and less of that, but it just seems very, ambient and incidental. But in the movie, all of a sudden everything pops out and you hear the themes and you want to sing them later on and all that other business. So Hans Zimmer's soundtracks, although they're getting a little bit more and more ambient, a little bit more reliant on texture, are also becoming closer and closer related to the movies as they go along. And in that way, this is an extremely successful soundtrack for Dune. I've waited all my whole life to have somebody show up and make a soundtrack that's almost like canon for Dune. And this is there. But here's the problem with it. It doesn't stand alone on its own very well. I still feel like I spend a lot of time waiting for things to show up. And that's what happens on the screen. And that's not really a diss on this, because that's what movie soundtracks are supposed to do. But as an independent listening experience, Dune is a good ambient album if you don't mind some explosive moments. But for now, if I have to choose between those two, I have to go with Tame Impala's The Slow Rush. So agree, disagree, let me know below. Like and subscribe and share the video out with your friends. And if you want to see more of them, I'm going to be doing some more of these next week. So until I see you then, I'll catch you on the flip side.